microphone, because obviously all of you know that my voice is plenty loud enough by itself. Yeah. So this is a poem for the underdogs, or my friends. I'll start off with a story, though. See, when I was a kid, I used to think that pork chops and karate chops were the same thing. I thought they were both pork chops. And because they were my favorite, and my grandma thought it was cute, she let me keep doing it. Not really a big deal. One day, before I realized fat kids are not designed to climb trees, I fell out of a tree and I bruised the right side of my body. I didn't want to tell my grandmother because I was afraid I'd get in trouble for playing places that I shouldn't have been. A few days later, the gym teachers noticed the bruise, and I was sent to the principal's office. And from there, I was sent to another small room with a really nice lady who asked me all kinds of questions about my personal life. I saw no reason to lie. As far as I was concerned, life was pretty good, I told her. Whenever I'm sad, my grandma gives me karate chops. This led to a full-scale investigation, and I was removed from my house for 3 days until they finally decided to ask how I got the bruises. News of this silly little story quickly spread around the school, and I earned my first nickname, Pork Chop. To this day, I hate pork chops. But I'm not the only kid who grew up this way. Surrounded by people who used to say that rhyme about sticks and stones as if broken bones hurt more than the names we got called, and we got called them all. So we grew up believing no one would ever fall in love with us, that we'd be lonely forever, that we'd never feel like the sun was something that somebody made for us in their tool shed. So broken heartstrings bled the blues, and we tried to empty ourselves so we would feel nothing. Don't tell me that hurts less than a broken bone. That surgeons, like an ingrown life is something surgeons can cut away like there's no way for it to metastasize. It does. She was 8 years old on our first day of grade 3 when she got called ugly. We both got moved to the back of class so we would stop getting bombarded by spitballs, but the school halls were a battleground that we found ourselves outnumbered. Day after wretched day, we'd stay inside for recess because outside was worse. Outside we'd have to rehearse running away or staying still like statues so no one knew we were there. In grade 5, they taped a sign to her desk that said, "Beware of dog." To this day, despite a loving husband, she doesn't think she's beautiful, due to a birthmark that takes up a little less than half of her face. Kids used to say she looks like a wrong answer that someone tried to erase but couldn't get the job done. And they'll never understand that she is raising 2 kids whose definition of beauty begins with the word mom because they see her heart before they see her skin, and that she's only ever always been amazing. He was a broken branch, grafted to a different family tree. Adopted. Not because his parents opted for a different destiny. He was 3, became a mixed drink of 1 part left alone and 2 parts tragedy, started therapy in the 8th grade, made a personality made up of tests and pills, lived like the uphills were mountains and the downhills were cliffs, 4/5 suicidal, a tidal wave of antidepressants, and an adolescence of being called pauper, 1 part because of the pills and 99 parts because of the cruelty. He tried to kill himself in grade 10 when a kid who still had his mom and dad had the audacity to tell him get over it, as if depression is something that can be remedied by something in a first aid kit. To this day, he's a stick of TNT lit from both ends. He could describe to you in detail the way the sky bends in the moments before it's about to fall. Despite an army of friends who all call him an inspiration, he remains a conversation piece between who can't understand, and sometimes being drug-free has less to do with addiction and more to do with sanity. We weren't the only kids who grew up this way. To this day, kids are still being called names. Classics were, "He's stupid," "Hey spaz." Seems like each school has an arsenal of names getting updated every year, and if a kid breaks in a school and no one around chooses to hear, do they make a sound? Or are they just background noise stuck on repeat? When people say things like, "Kids can be cruel," every school is a big top circus tent, and the pecking order went from acrobats to lion tamers to clowns to carnies, and all of these were miles ahead of who we were. We were freaks. lobster-clawed boys and bearded ladies, oddities juggling depression and loneliness, playing solitaire and spin the bottle, trying to kiss the wounded parts of ourselves and heal. But at night, while others slept, we walked the tightrope, and yes, some of us fell. But I want to tell them that all of this is just debris left over when we finally decide to smash all the things we thought used to be. And if you can't see anything beautiful about yourself, get a better mirror, look a little closer, stare a little longer, because there's something inside of you that made you keep trying despite the others who told you to quit. You built a cast around your broken heart. You signed it yourself. You signed it they were wrong. Because maybe you didn't belong to a group or a clique. Maybe you decided to pick, maybe they decided to pick you last for basketball or everything. Maybe you used to bring bruises and broken teeth to show and tell, but never told. How can you hold your ground if everyone around you wants to bury you beneath it? You have to believe that they were wrong. They have to be wrong. Why else would we still be here? We grew up learning to cheer on the underdog because we see ourselves in them. We stem from a root planted in the belief that we are not what we got called. We are not broken cars stalled out on a highway sitting empty. And if some way we are, don't worry. We only got to walk and get gas. We are graduating members from the class of We Made It. Not the faded echoes saying names will never hurt me. Of course they did. But our lives will only ever always continue to be a balancing act that has less to do with pain and more to do with beauty.